It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chili Falls.
And good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this Wednesday, the 19th day of April 2023. Coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia, Central Virginia area. And first things, folks, I got to give you a little explanation and apologize about yesterday and what led up to me canceling the show yesterday. A couple of weeks ago, when I first started looking at the power chairs as a possible option for me, I called the company in Flint, Michigan. I believe it was Flint. Anyway, north of Detroit, Flint, Michigan. And I talked to those folks about the chair that I was interested in. And that, in fact, that they stock them. And yes, you can come in and make sure you fit in it before you buy it, ride it around a little bit, whatever you want to do. So when I asked them if they had a distributor closer to me in Virginia than Detroit, they said, oh, yeah, we've got the folks down at in what I thought he said was Henderson, North Carolina. And they gave me the name for me to contact and the phone number and to call them, and they'd be happy to take care of me and yada, yada, yada. I never thought anything more about it. I talked to Kay down there at Care Solutions, which is the name of her business. Several times we made arrangements for me to go down there yesterday to see a chair. Now, when they first told me Henderson, North Carolina, I looked that up on my GPS and it was 2 hours and 15 minutes from here. I said, oh, I can do that easily. Well, Monday night, I had, everything was set. I had moved the show to 9 o'clock, as I announced, to give me the driving time so I could get down there early afternoon and hopefully get back. Just driving 2 hours and 10, 15 minutes. So Monday night, I was going over everything. I said, well, let's just put the address in the GPS so I don't have to look for it in the morning. So I pulled up their website, plugged the GPS into my phone, and it said 5 hours and 50 minutes. And I said, what the hell is that? And that's Hendersonville, North Carolina. Yes, folks, North Carolina has a Henderson and a Hendersonville, and they're on opposite ends of the state. So then I start calculating. Well, if I do my show at 9, I get out of here. Let's say at the best, I get out of here at 10. Yeah, that puts me down there way late in the afternoon. Anything happens, I might miss it. So I said, that's not going to work. I'd already sent Kay a message and said, looks like it's going to be at least 3 o'clock before I get there, maybe pushing 4. Then the more I thought about it, the more I thought about it, I said, I'm going to have to get a hotel. And I don't know. I talked to a couple people, quite frankly, folks. I conversed with a couple of our regulars. And they both agreed, just cancel the show. Everybody knows what I'm doing. So I put notices out to everybody I could think of or that I have close to that I'm canceling the show for yesterday. Some people did not get the word. I apologize for that. And then there's people that I don't have in my group that I send messages to sometimes. Some people I don't have contact of on at all. If I don't have them in Facebook or Messenger or email or any of those things, there's some people that I just, don't have any way of contacting. like Dennis, for instance, just as I'll pick on him. I'm not picking on him, of course. So anyway, that's what I did. And so I canceled the show yesterday. I got up early because I didn't know how much I could stand driving in a day. I still had the possibility of having to catch a motel. So I packed, an extra clothes, extra change of clothes. I went on and packed up my computer and everything. If I had to do the show on the road today, I could do that. I got down there probably 11 o'clock, 11:30. I was there best part of 2 hours. At first, I was not expecting to bring a chair home if I liked it. I did. I loved the chair, by the way, because what they had in stock after the weekend they had was sold. They did have, they used one for me to fit in and make, sit in it and ride it around a little bit in the showroom. They said, "Oh, you can take it outside." Well, I didn't want to do that because I knew it was sold to somebody else. I don't want to get dirty. I don't take a chance of me running into something, But anyway, so I like the chair a lot. I said, "Well, I'm going to take the chair." So we took care of the business end of the thing. And she says, "I can't have you drive all this way and not go home with the chair." So she got with her computer person. They figured out one of the chairs that sold. The guy can't pick it up for a couple weeks. And she says, "I'll have a chance to replace that by the time he picks it up. Would you take a silver?" I said, "Sure. It's in my car." And so I got it loaded up and everything. Just take off again. I drove, 2.5, 3 hours more, and I was really getting tired. I pulled over in a rest area. I took about a 30-minute power nap. I got up feeling pretty good. I said, "Well, I'm going to go on and see if I can't make it home." Nothing else to save on it, a couple $100. And I did. I made it home. I got home about, 7 o'clock last night. 7:30. Tired. Oh, yeah. 11 hours of driving. That's a long day for me, especially, while I'm back pretty close to normal, I'm still recovering, remember? So that was a bit of a stretch, but it's here. So I am planning on going out this afternoon. We've got a nice day here in Virginia. I'm going to ride it around the yard some, make sure I start getting used to using that joystick, making sure I know how to do everything that I'm going to need, when I go on my trip. But one thing to be clear about, folks, I am not dumping Scoot around. I mean, that's a marriage of almost 9 years now, probably 9 years since the very first time I used a Scoot around scooter. They're absolutely perfect for what I do on cruise ships. This is going to give me maybe a different option on my cruises in that when I go on off the ship in ports of call, maybe I can take some excursions because this is lightweight enough. It can fold up and put in a luggage carrier on a bus, or it could be put in the trunk of a car, just like it's in the trunk of my car, and I can get it out myself. So maybe it's going to give me some more options. But the main reason, the most important thing, is when I get to an airport, I can park the car, I can ride the wheelchair, do the check-in with the airport business, go through TSA, be in a mobility device while I'm at the airport. So I've got the freedom of moving around to go to restaurants or maybe a cocktail lounge, or even to the restroom instead of being parked in an uncomfortable wheelchair until my flight leaves and not being able to go anywhere. And I've had plenty of hours of that in this past month. That's going to eliminate that completely. It's also going to allow me to pull right up to the plane. I'll pull the batteries out and put it in my little bag. And fold the chair up, and they can put it down below, and it'll be waiting for me when we get to the next stop. I get off the plane, I get in my chair, I put the batteries back in it, and I take off. Same token when I get to a motel or a hotel. You know, sometimes where an Uber drops me off at the door of a hotel, it's a huge walk to the desk. I have trouble with the walking, folks. Even with my walker, I might have to walk 20 feet, stop and get my breath. Walk another 20 feet, stop and get my breath. So I'll be using it at hotels. It'll give me the option, like I'm going to be in Miami almost a full day. I can do some running around from the hotel in Miami in the chair. So it's going to give me some options that I currently do not have, and I'm tickled about that. So that's what's up with the chair. I do have it, like I say, this afternoon. Hopefully, I'm going to be going out and riding it around the yard some, because it's a learning curve now. I got to get used to that. But by no means is this changing anything with Scoot-Around. I will still be using Scoot-Around scooters on all my cruises because they're perfect for what I do on a cruise ship. So, special shout out and thanks to Care Solutions in Hendersonville, North Carolina, Kay and all our staff. They were just wonderful. And they have everything, folks. They have scooters and they have any kind of mobility devices that you'd want. They're stocked in their warehouse in Hendersonville. So if you're in that area in North Carolina, then they're good people to deal with. I'll tell you that. One other quick announcement. Mr. Bucket List and I will be doing a live stream, not this Friday, but next Friday on the 28th for our upcoming May the 1st hosted cruise on the Norwegian Joy. So feel free to join us whether you're on that cruise or not. We'll be going over, of course, what we're doing on that cruise with everybody. Should they be there. If you haven't, please consider smashing the thumbs up for me. That helps the channel out a lot. If you have not subscribed, that also would help me a lot. The bell notification will let you know when I go live or when I post a new video, like I did just a little while ago, by the way. Top story today is fishing from a cruise ship. We're going to get to that in a minute. Today, folks, is National Banana Day. And to celebrate that, I went in the kitchen just a short while ago and had me a banana. I like bananas. So I didn't mind that at all. If you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard. You're always welcome here, of course. You also represent the biggest portion of my audience now. And I appreciate each and every one of you. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. All the big guys, just search for travel and cruise industry news, and up pops the fat travel guy. If you're ever watching or listening via the podcast and want to jump over and see any pictures or clips, there's always a link in the description of the podcast to do just that. So click on the video feed anytime you want when we do something like this. On Monday, I told you about Hot Air Tom sent me a clip from his Norwegian Escape handicap accessible cabin. Of course, we'll be on the Escape on December the 2nd. I will be hosting a cruise on that. If you're interested, by all means, let me know. Here's Hot Air Tom.
Okay, we're in the Norwegian Escape. This is a club balcony suite, room 290, handicapped. It's our first experience of the handicap room. And for Chile, It has an automatic cabin door. Open sesame, and look, poof. Make getting in and out room to park. Wheelchairs plenty. And let's go out and look. This is a nice looking balcony. And we are at the port of Miami. Took us a little over an hour to get here from the Intercontinental Hotel that's just a couple miles away. The traffic was so bad, and whatever they're doing on the bridge in the port area, it was like a maze. You go a mile out of your way and then circle back to where you started to get over on the other road. It's a wonder anybody figured out how to get here.
And of course, that's Hot Air Tom from the Norwegian Escape. He and Cindy are on her as we speak. So, all right. Today's top story. A guest on board a Carnival cruise ship was captured fishing. A traveling companion videoed him while he was fishing from a balcony stateroom. The video posted on TikTok shows the male passenger pulling in a fish from an obvious balcony cabin, while the female guest was filming the video and laughs and exclaims throughout. No fishing rod is visible, just a lengthy piece of line and the spool that is from. As the fish comes closer, not only can viewers see that it is dangled in the line, but a hook is embedded in its mouth. The small yellow lure and metal weight are also attached to the line. By size, overall markings, in the triangular body shape, the fish appears to be a buffalo trunkfish. I didn't know that. The exact cruise ship has not been identified in the video, but the male guest is wearing a Carnival Cruise Line sail and sign card. The blue card indicates this is the guest's first sailing with the cruise line, as guests on their second cruises are issued a red sign and sail card. Higher levels are different colors, of course, depending on the status of the guest. The video was posted on April the 16th, but there's no telling exactly when it may have been filmed. The background in the video is clearly obvious as Nassau in the Bahamas, and you can tell that because of the recent port improvements visible on the dock and the island's distinctive water tower in the distance. The TikTok account in question is not a prolific one, just 6 videos posted and 728 followers as of today. The fishing video has been posted twice and together has gone viral with more than 2 million views. That's disgusting. The video cuts off as the fish is on the balcony floor. It's not known what became of the fish after the video, as no further updates have been posted. It must be noted that fishing off a cruise ship balcony is absolutely not permitted, as it would present a hazard not only to marine wildlife, there being no guarantee that any fish caught would not be protected or other marine life, such as sea turtles, corals, or stingrays, would not be harmed, but could also be hazardous to the ship if items swung from a line onto other balconies. Therefore, the individuals in this video likely broke several cruise line policies, as well as the local Bahamian law, with a stunt if they do not previously apply for and receive the appropriate fishing permit. Carnival does not permit fishing rods to be bought on board their ships. Such equipment can only be used while off the ship in an appropriate port of call. Video in question does not show any fishing rod, just a spool of line. So, my thoughts on this, folks? Find these people and borrow from the cruise ships. Clearly, they don't know what they're doing, but that's pretty stupid, I think. All right. Crazy. I'll be back after this.
Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scootaround. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scootaround for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise.
And remember, folks, they're running a sale, spring sale right now. Anything from Scootaround or Will Power Chairs is 8% off. You might want to consider that if you're considering any purchases. All right. A little more logical story. The MSC Euribia, the new state-of-the-art Meraviglia Plus class cruise ship for MSC Cruises, has set off on a 4-day sea trial to test its system before it's delivered to MSC at the end of May. After her naming ceremony in June, she will sail a series of cruises to the Norwegian fjords from Germany. Sea trials mark the final step before final delivery to MSC Cruises. Constructed at Chantiers de la Tinque in Saint-Nazaire, MSC Euribia is the first in its class to be equipped with LNG propulsion, acoustic systems to protect wildlife, and state-of-the-art energy efficiency systems. So congratulations to MSC and the Euribia, and hopefully we'll be hearing a lot about that ship. I'd like to sail on it sometime too, if it ever comes this way. Sad story. Italian authorities have discovered the deceased body of a teenager who fell overboard from the Costa Toscana after departing from Civitavecchia, that's Rome, of course, and heading towards Genoa. The accident occurred over the weekend with the cruise ship being 7 miles away from Civitavecchia. The teenager was identified as a German national, and although reports suggest that he might have intentionally taken his own life due to depression, there is still uncertainty surrounding the circumstances of his death. Despite the difficulty in carrying out rescue operations at sea, the Italian Coast Guard and firefighters were promptly called to the scene, and an investigation has been launched. But don't go away, folks. I'll be back with the rest of the news right after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. All right, the next story, folks, has to do with Cape Liberty, Bayonne, New Jersey. Guests sailing from Cape Liberty Cruise Port in New York will be paying more for parking at the terminal starting May the 1st, as parking fees are set to increase. Unfortunately, I sail from there May 23rd. So if I park, it's going to be expensive. The daily rate is currently $25, but will increase as the summer cruise season Come on, tongue. As the summer cruise season heats up, a notice on Cape Liberty's cruise port official website is notifying guests of the upcoming rate increase effective May the 1st. The parking rate is $30 per day. The parking lot at Cape Liberty is located just 750 feet from the cruise terminal, making it extremely convenient for cruise travelers who prefer to drive their own vehicles to the cruise port. Parking is guaranteed without any reservations necessary, and payment is accepted in cash or credit card. Cape Liberty is one of 3 cruise ports servicing New York and has the least expensive parking rate. At both Brooklyn and Manhattan terminals, parking is $45 a day. Hey, a rate increase from the previous rate of $30 for overnight parking at the Brooklyn terminal and $40 at the Manhattan terminal. The Manhattan terminal did previously offer a flat rate of $400 for cruises of 11 to 14 nights. How nice. But they've done away with that. I was seriously thinking about driving to Bayonne. Yeah, it's about a 9-hour drive from here. And a lot of traffic because you got to go through D.C. and Philadelphia and, get up there close to New York. But not and pay $30 for parking a day. I pay in Richmond at the airport, I pay $6.50 a day. So I would save $23.50 a day if I go park at Richmond and fly up. It doesn't take me long to cover an airplane ticket from Richmond to Bayonne, saving that much just on the parking and not have to deal with 11 hours of driving both ways. My travel plans might be changing for the Bayonne cruise. Just saying. $30 a day. Ugh. God. All right. Carnival Cruise Line has reached out to guests booked on the November 9th sailing of the upcoming Carnival Venezia to alert them to significant itinerary changes. While the ship will still be visiting the same ports of call, the order of ports has been changed and the times in port have been adjusted. Carnival Cruise Line has reached out to guests booked on the November 9th sailing of the Venezia to alert them to significant itinerary changes. In Amber Cove, guests have the same length of time to visit. The original itinerary had Carnival Venezia in port from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now that visit will be from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., still a 9-hour visit, but shifted 2 hours earlier. Similarly, while visiting San Juan, guests will have the same amount of time with the ship visiting the 9 to 6 instead of 7 to 4. In St. Thomas, guests will enjoy an earlier time in port, 7 to 4, instead of original 9 to 6. St. Martin, the ship will be visiting from 7 to 4, whereas the original schedule was from 9 to 6. Overall, despite every port being changed, guests gain 1 hour in Grand Turk, but keep the same amount of time in every other port. The overall number of days at sea will also be the same, but in reverse. The cruise will now begin with 3 days at sea en route to the Southern Caribbean and 2 days at sea while returning to New York. Because Carnival Venezia will not be visiting ports of call on the previous planned days or during the original visit hours, the cruise line is shifting all shore excursions to the new dates as necessary. Carnival Cruise Line has not offered any reason for doing this. And we know, folks, and it's not an Azapod issue like Royal Caribbean keeps changing Anthem of the Seas. because this is a ship that's in dry dock right now and being redone. I just wish the cruise lines would be a little more forthcoming with the kind of things that they do. You know, I've said all along, you know, we wear big boy pants. You know, let us know what's happening. We'll deal with it. I get frustrated at the beating around the bush and not telling us why, and then giving us funky reasons why. All right. Up in Alaska, our friends in Juneau and major cruise shipping companies have signed a memorandum of agreement to limit the number of large vessels in port per day to no more than 5. The agreement, which was negotiated by Juneau and Cruise Lines International, that's CLIA, of course, is based on a recommendation from the Visitor Industry Task Force in 2020 and demonstrates the partnership between the parties. The limit is intended to ensure a positive experience for both residents and visitors, provide a reliable market for local businesses that rely on the visitor industry, and maintain a vibrant and sustainable visitor industry in Juneau and Southeast Alaska. I don't remember how many ships were in port when I was in Juneau last, but I don't think it was more than a couple. And some of the places were really busy. I mean, I went up on Mount Roberts. It was busy, but I didn't have to wait long to go up, you know, get on the tram up to the top of the mountain. But when I came back down and went to the Red Dog Saloon, I was packed. I mean, people were literally, you know, it was completely packed. And I don't remember that being with 5 ships. 5 ships would, you know, Juneau's not that big a packed place. But I mean, I understand why they're doing it, and I'm not saying I disagree with it at all. I'm surprised it's 5. Could easily have been 4. And finally, this morning, folks, another sad story. Crew member aboard the Virtuosa, MSC's Virtuosa, required urgent medical attention and was evacuated shortly after the vessel departed Hamburg, Germany. The Virtuosa had 6,300 passengers on board and had made 14 calls to Hamburg previously, left the cruise center Steinwerder around 9 p.m. en route to Zeebrugge in Belgium. However, while sailing in the Elbe River, a medical emergency alarm was sounded, indicating that a crew member required immediate medical assistance. The Italian captain of the 19-deck high Virtuosa promptly ordered the ship to turn back to Hamburg at full speed. By 10 p.m., the ship had returned to the front of the cruise center where an ambulance was waiting to transport the crew member to a nearby clinic. The nature of the medical emergency and the identity of the crew member were not disclosed by the cruise company. Following the medical evaluation, the ship had to delay its departure from Hamburg until around 3:30 a.m. due to increased traffic on the Elbe River. So our thoughts go to that crew member that he does get better and gets back on board the ship as soon as possible. All right, that's going to wrap up the news portion of today. Let's go over and see who's fussing at me in the cruise chat room. Kenneth's here. Hi, Kenneth. Katie's with us. Yo, 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 Brooklyn in the house. Eddie is here. Hi, Eddie. Mike's here. Good morning, Mike. Of course, everybody's speaking back and forth. Dennis is with us. Hey, Dennis. Chili, get into the habit of using Google to map your journeys. Very easy to do. A Google search, your home to Henderson, North Carolina. Yeah, I mean, I use Google Maps all the time. My problem is that I started off thinking I was going to Henderson, North Carolina. In fact, I had to go to Hendersonville, North Carolina. That's what made the difference. if I was going to Henderson, North Carolina, I would have been there and back in no time. So, yeah. That was a kick in the butt. You should be able to reach everyone in a community post here. Yeah, I did. I put it in the community tab that the show was canceled. So I hope everybody saw that, or that I sent direct messages to. My grandparents are no longer around, so no need to be on Facebook so I can see what they're up to. Oh, that's funny, Dennis. Did they price match the lowest online price or the wheelchair, as I had suggested checking on Monday? I got a substantial discount. So I'm not sure that it was actually price matching, but I got a pretty good deal on it. So it was a deal enough for me to say, here's my credit card. So. Never allow your mobile to leave your body. Lever your mobile. Oh, your mobile. Keep the mobile device with me, of course. Are you talking about my mobile phone? No. The phone is going to be with me. I guarantee that. Nikki's with us. Hi, Nikki. So glad it worked out. Yeah, it did. I mean, I was tired. I was really tired. That was a lot more than my fat little body will take on a regular basis. Even with my driving back and forth to Florida that I've done a bazillion times, and my trips back to Galveston for a couple cruises out of Galveston, I haven't driven 11 hours in a day forever. I mean, 8. Yeah, I was up to 8 along in that vicinity, but not 11. So I was tired, and I didn't stay up very long once I got home. And I got, part of the stuff unpacked. I got, of course, all my meds and stuff that I had to take last night back out of the bag. And even the computer and stuff, I didn't even do that till this morning. So, yeah, I went out in a hurry. No doubt about that. Tom also needs to remove the H word from his vocabulary, use disabled disability and accessibility instead of handicapped. I completely agree. And that's something that's difficult to do, because we, for so long, and I'm guilty of that as well, that and Dennis is absolutely right. When I talk to any of my friends now that I'm close friends with a number of people in the disability community, we've talked about that before, and they all feel the same way. We're not handicapped. We're disabled. We make the most out of what we got. So I completely agree. Let's see. Kenneth is answering a question. We're doing okay, taking it day by day, counting our days to the next cruise. Fishing off a stateroom balcony. What could go wrong? Yeah, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Unbelievable. Costa. Did I say that wrong? I've been saying Costa forever. Did I say Costa? It's Costa. Yeah. I got Civita Vecchia. Yeah, thank you. Always check online for booking a car park. The rate in New York is much lower when you book airline nearby car parks. Yeah, even in Richmond, I use a car park nearby. I don't park at the airport. It's 2 minutes away. And it's Hot Air Tom is the one that touted me on that. And I used them when I flew to New Orleans in January. And, oh, man, that was perfect. I parked the car, and before I could get everything out of it, the guy was there with the the bus thingy to pick me up. And, you know, put the suitcase in, my carry-on bag, my walker. And I got in and rode straight over to the airport and let me up. Even took my luggage and stuff inside. So now when I get there, I'll be putting you know, instead of my walker in the little bus thingy, I'll be putting my wheelchair in. So that's I got to get used to the changes, obviously. But yeah, the only time that I wanted now to park at a port specifically is in Florida, to make sure that I can do that free. And if I can park free, that's terrific. Supposedly I can park free since I now have permanent disabled tags on my car. And see, Dennis, I didn't say handicap tags. I said disabled tags. I'm trying to get totally accustomed to saying that as well. You're the only Cruise vlogger that properly pronounces Venezia. I'm wondering how Carnival's going to do it. If they, in fact, are going to pronounce it correctly or not. My bet is that nobody will pronounce it properly. Virtuosa. Virtuosa. Roll the R if you can. Virtuosa. Virtuosa. I have trouble rolling. Virtuosa. I didn't even think about breaking that down. I'm just used to what I've called it before. Thanks, Dennis. Eddie's there. Yo, yo, yo. Yes, mobile phone. I followed you on that. Yes, I said Costa. And I know that one. Yeah. Even the car parks in Boston are quite dear, but you can save money more than half booking online. Oh, yeah. I do most everything online anymore. Katie says she likes the term handicap. A lot of people don't, Kate. And I understand that. I understand the differences, and I actually like to think of disabled. That seems to be more positive in what we can do than the fact that we can't do things. That's the way I kind of distinguish the two. Handy-capable. I see what you're saying. Handy-capable. Now that's a little better than handicapped. Oh yeah, I agree with that. Handy-capable. That's okay. My fault, Katie. I read that wrong. Yeah, we agree with that one. Okay, we're on the same boat. I kind of figured we were. But anyway, all right, guys. That's going to wrap me up today. I got a little meeting here coming up at 12 o'clock on my May 1st cruise with the folks at Viva. See if there's any things that I should know or we've had any additions to the list. But I'll be back same time, same channel tomorrow. We'll also have the Cruise Amigos tomorrow, featuring Amigo John and who knows, maybe Amigo Martin. So that's going to wrap me up for today. As always, folks, I sure appreciate you being with me. And we'll see everybody back here tomorrow. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising. One day soon, we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a fantastic day, everybody. See you tomorrow.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, chilly chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chili's Cruises.